we would like to celebrate with all the world about the soil and promote the idea of a healthy soil for the importance of our lives. We will like to underline to the speakers that the presentations are strictly 10 minutes. Unfortunately, we were not able to give more time because we had many participations. So I will give now the floor to Professors Konstantina Kotaridis and start right now the event. Thank you very much, all of you. Konstantina, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. I'm sharing the screen. I hope you can see the screen by now.
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. It's a great pleasure to be here today again with all the associates celebrating the World Soil Day in this special event. And thanks to all the associates for making this event happen. I won't take much of the time because this intervention of mine today belongs to my students at the master program, both in bioeconomics and the new program Bioeconomy, Circular Economy, and Sustainable Development. I understand that most of you are by now familiar with what we do in the master's program. So just a brief overview, the master program in bioeconomy, circular economy, and sustainable development was basically introduced back in 2016. That was under the name of MSc program in bioeconomics and was jointly with the Department of Biology at the University of Athens. And it was an idea actually of Professor Piraeus from the Department of Biology. And we owe special thanks to him for making this program happen. Now the program is autonomously under the University of Piraeus, mainly in collaboration with University of Athens and other, of course, universities and organizations. And we have expanded the program, including other classes that are of interest to the market nowadays. So what is the competitive advantage of this master program? We basically provide an holistic approach in education and training in the new fields of bioeconomy, circular economy, and sustainable development. So our aim is to fill the gap in the market of well-educated and skilled personnel. It's something that the market needs. So we saw this gap and we tried to fill it. Well, comments are very are very good so far regarding what we do. And obviously there's a fast growing trend both in the EU and Greece, although Greece is lagging a little bit behind, but we're going faster through those directions. So we have some special things that we offer to our students. We have included internships in enterprises and organizations for our students. And many students have been hired by those enterprises and organizations so far. We offer scholarships, is what we will do today here. Scholarships both from organizations, but also from the program to congratulate as a award, as a reward for the students that do well in the program and they try their best. We also have a lot of seminars in special topics that are of interest both to the market and the students so that we can provide them not only with particular classes during our program, but also with extra topics that would be of interest and to enterprises nowadays. And of course, we have an interdisciplinary program. We have professors and tutors from different disciplines. We have economists, we have people from business, we have biologists, we have chemical engineers, we have a lot of different disciplines. And I think this is the beauty of this program, that it blends many different disciplines, because bioeconomy is about blending and collaborating, as Electra said beforehand. So I won't speak any more about the program. I will just show you some pictures from the past and the present. We have visits to companies like, for example, here Apivita or the Titan company, our students and Professor Hadjinicolaou has visited an international event. We were honored to have the Minister of Tourism in our program to talk about sustainability and bioeconomy issues regarding tourism this year. That's why you see that we are all online as we are today. And here is the graduation ceremony from last December of our first students, the award of Mrs. Raftopoulou. And we're glad that her brother is also joining our master's program this year. And he's one of the people that we are going he's getting an award also and a scholarship. This is Professor Hadzidima down there because because she is also the director of another MSc program, and then we jointly graduated, held the ceremonies together. So briefly, this is a short snapshot of what we are. And now I will announce the scholars. First, I will announce the scholars of the MSc in Bioeconomics. This is the program that is joined with the Department of Biology of the University of Athens, year 2018. So the first scholarship goes to Elena Zvigun. Elena, I don't know if you are online. Are you there? Elena is a very good student of ours. She works. Maybe she's not available to join this event. And we're glad that we had Elena Zvigun in our program. The second scholarship goes to Irini Kaminioti. And I was honored to have Irini in my team for her thesis. She has done an excellent thesis. She got a very good grade, and that's why she's rewarded with the second scholarship of the MSc in Bioeconomics in 2018. Irini, are you online?
Yes, I am online.
Hello, Irini.
Hello, everyone.
The scholarship of the year 2018 goes to you, and we were glad to have you in our program.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy about this. I would like to thank all the professors of the MSc in Bioeconomics, and especially Ms. Kontaridou, you.
Thank you.
As we cooperate very good, and with your advices, I managed to take very significant decisions for my professional career.
Okay, thank you, Irini. Thank you for intervening. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So now I'm going to the announcement of scholars for the new program, the MSc in Bioeconomy, Circular Economy, Sustainable Development. We have 3 scholarships for the first semester and 3 scholarships for the second semester. The scholars for the first semester is Triandafylia Karabini. Triandafylia, are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Good afternoon.
Yes. Hello, Filio. Congratulations on your scholarship. Well done.
Thank you very much for this nomination. It's so nice and encouraging seeing our efforts being recognized and rewarded. And thank you so much for having us. Keep up with a good job even during these hard times. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Filio. Second scholarship goes to Alexandros Raftopoulos. Alexandre, are you online?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, Alexandre. Congratulations.
Hello to everyone. Thank you very much. I have to say that through this master, I got to know what is bioeconomy, what is circular economy, what's sustainable growth, and how we can achieve them.
Thank you, Alexander. Congratulations. Now, scholarships for the second semester. First scholarship goes to Eleni Lupu. Eleni, are you online? Eleni is not here. She's at work, as she told me. Second scholarship goes to Spiridula Livani. Spiridula, are you online for your scholarship? Same here. And
Me? Hello.
yeah, Spiridula. Hi, Spiridula, congratulations on your scholarship.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone. Thank you very much for the scholarship. Master was a great experience for me. Thank you. Enjoy the webinar.
Thank you, Spiridula. Congratulations. And the third scholarship for the second semester goes to two students because they had exactly the same grades, Ioanna Kotsira and Stavroula Christopoulou. Ioanna and Stavroula, are you online?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for the scholarship, and congratulations to everyone who gets one. And I'm really happy for this master, and I hope to be the same good to me or also to my career.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again. Stavroula, are you online? Okay, so I was very happy to share this good news and these scholarships in this event with all of you. And in this great day that we celebrate soil. And I'm done. I give the floor. I have kept the 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Konstantina. Now I would please stop sharing so I can go through two slides just to remind you of how the event will evolve. Konstantina, please stop sharing.
Yes, I'm trying to do that.
I think I managed. Do you see my screen?
Yes, okay. Good, thank you, Jakov.
So the next 3+ something hours will be devoted, will be split, let's say, in two parts. One session dedicated to soil and bioeconomy, and after a short break for, say, grab a cup of coffee, to soil and products. At the end, we will close with your contribution, your ideas put on the table, and an open discussion, and we'll conclude with closing remarks and, let's say, see how it will go to the future. Now, house rules. I know that being online, it's not technically always good. So in order to keep the bandwidth as good as possible, I would like to ask everyone to mute your mics and switch off your cameras, unless, of course, your time is up and you have to present it. Presented your slides. The presentation will be recorded, only the main part, of course, the presentation and the talks. And if you have any question, problem, whatever you need to address us, please use the chat function. At the end, in the open discussion, we'll give you more details how it will evolve. Now, before we move to the first session, I would like to show you a small video, not prepared by us, but prepared by the Commission in the celebration of the World Soil Day. So, if you bear with me, it's not big.
Did you know that without healthy soils, there would be no food on your table? That many textiles wouldn't exist? And that there wouldn't even be any wood? If we didn't have healthy soils that filter water, there would be more floods, more droughts, more carbon in the atmosphere, and definitively, less life. In fact, about 25% of European land is affected by water erosion, and the costs associated with soil degradation in the EU may exceed 50 billion euros per year. Without healthy soils, our planet would look very different. We have to make changes. We have to act now. It's our mission to heal the earth together. Healthy soils, healthy planet, healthy people. Caring for soil is caring about life.
Okay, and after this positive message, let's see what we can do, what we can find out from the research that is going on. So, okay, to stop it. I would like to ask Dr. Efi Alexopoulou to start the first session with a keynote presentation. Efi?
Yes, I can hear you, Iakove. Before of that, I would like to say that some people, they have a problem to connect it because we have the limit of 100 people, and I just received a message from the second speaker after me.
I am in contact with Luis, our colleague who set up the session, and we're trying to find a way to increase the number of participants. So, Luis, yes, go for it.
Yeah, okay. The only thing that is, I can make it, but I hope it will start from now, from this meeting. We can increase, but I hope it will work for this. Because the other solution is that I can go live on Facebook with this, so that people can connect to Facebook freely and they can see the, the session.
But they will only see, not speak.
No.
Okay.
The problem is that we have with the next speaker that cannot be connected.
Efi, please ask him to try again, because we have a couple of seats left now, empty. So
we are how many people?
No, we are 100 actually. So let me try to see if I can.
In any case,
I can buy the.
Ask Chris to join.
I sent a message to try again.
Okay, then please start, and maybe we'll change the order.
Okay, because we have the limit of 20 minutes. I will try to be briefly because we have too many speakers. Okay. Good afternoon. I would like to thank you, especially Electra Papadopoulou, because it was the first that shared the idea with me last summer to do an event on bioeconomy, and of course Iakovos Dilioglanis and Konstantina Kotaridi for helping to organize this very nice event of today. But I have to say something about Electra, because she was the first that shared this idea. So I will try to present what we are doing in CRES on industrial crops. That is a very important group of crops for the bioeconomy. And you can see in the first slide several logos of the project that we're working on industrial crops. The starting point in the presentation, there are two projects, Panacea and Magic. They are two Horizon 2020 projects. On both of them, we're working on industrial crops. On Magic, we're working on real field. And on Panacea, it's a network with the farmers trying to find the way to organize the penetration path of non-food crops for the European agriculture. But why industrial crops? Because the industrial crops, the non-food crops, can provide feedstock for numerous applications in the bio-based economy, in bioeconomy. And if we go through all the projects that have been funded by the European Union, we found in Panacea more than 250 projects on industrial crops. That is really something to see, and a lot of research. They have done several things on that. But how we categorize these crops is according to the end use. We have crops that the emphasis is on the seed, so we have oilseed crops. We have several crops on fiber that the emphasis is on the stem. Perennial herbaceous crop that is the whole biomass like miscanthus, woody species, and of course carbohydrate crops like sugar beet, sorghum, lupin. In this graph, I'm trying to present what is the relation between the quantity and quality, the volume of the biomass needed for the industrial application and the price of the product. There are crops. Some of the industrial crops, they are multi-purpose, like industrial hemp. So we can even produce pharmaceutical application that we don't need a lot of material, but the price is real high. And at the same time, we can use the biomass, the remain of the stem, for energy, for pellets, for instance. In this graph, I'm trying to outline just what MAGIC had the ambition to do. The ambition of MAGIC was to test industrial crops, but on marginal land, because in Europe, there is a big area that is not perfect for the food and feed agriculture. There are surplus land that we can use it to cultivate industrial crops without affect the food versus fuel debate. So in MAGIC, we're doing that. We select 20 promising industrial crops on marginal land for bio-based product and bioenergy. And what about Piraeus? Piraeus is a network, and what we are trying to do, we try to see from the beginning what is the needs of the farmers, what are the needs of the industry, and we try these two groups, the needs from the farmers and the industry, to bridge them and to make a penetration path for a successful establishment of non-food crops in European agriculture. In this project, we have a lot of events like today. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we had to change our program, because in this event, we have a lot of training of the students. We had planned visit to the fields. We had the visit with farmers to the fields, a lot of training event that totally changed. But do we have some successful application on industrial crops in Europe? Yes, we have a lot, and we have to find out why these success stories there exist, what make them to be a success, and how we can learn from them to to create new success stories. And just include in this graph a few of these cases, like miscanthus, like willow, poplar, sunflower, cardoon, camelina. From these two projects that I present before, MAGIC and Piraeus, we started from a very long list. In Piraeus, we started from 93 crops. In MAGIC, from 67. And we're trying to screen them, to compare them, and to see which of them can be grown either on marginal land, or which of them can be near to agricultural practice, can be promoted to the farmers, because there is a need from the industry. Of course, it's not only Piraeus and MAGIC. We have two great other projects like Bicul and Cosmos. Cosmos just finished. And moreover, we have projects like Grace, First to Run, Dedramatch for Europe, and several other projects. We study them, and we saw, and we try to see which are near to practice. And recently, we end up to these 10 crops that we do believe that there is a very interesting they are very interesting for the farmers. 5 of them, they are perennial: miscanthus, willow, cardoon, switchgrass, and poplar, and 5 of them are annual. What is the asset of the annual? They be grown in rotation with typical agricultural crops like cereals, while the perennials, they have long-term commitment with the farmers. In this graph, what is interesting, you can see the area of the cultivation. There are existing crops. Like industrial hemp, you can see the area of the cultivation: camelina, miscanthus, willow, sorghum, and some Ethiopian mustard. They are there. They are just not a research. And let's go. I will continue with 10 more slides, where I will present slide by slide the most interesting, promising industrial crops. And in each slide, you can see this logo of the project that supported the research per crop. I'm starting with camelina, an annual crop with very short growing period that can be cultivated in rotation with conventional crops like winter cereal, corn, etc. Here you can see some photos from a project finished last year, Cosmos, a project that tested camelina and crambe as a valuable oil seed for the chemical industry. And you can see also a link for a previous project, Ithaca, that tested camelina as feedstock for aviation fuel. Currently, we study camelina on marginal land in the view of MAGIC, and moreover, in a new project, Force Med, you can see the logo on the bottom, we tested camelina on conservation agricultural system, and this is a PRIMA project. The next crop, Ethiopian mustard. It's Brassica carinata. It's like Brassica napus that you can find everywhere in Europe. But this brassica has the advantage that it can be grown on marginal land, and moreover, they can be grown in the Mediterranean area that is drier compared to the north of Europe. Recently, we included Brassica carinata in another project apart from MAGIC, the project BIKE, where here we want to produce low ILUC biofuels, either by growing industrial crops, energy crops on marginal land like perennials, or in rotation with other crops. And Ethiopian mustard is one of these crops that is going to be tested in BIKE. Industrial hemp is a very important hemp for Europe. Especially the last 4 years, we have great changes in terms of industrial hemp. The area of the cultivation has been a significant increase, 3 times higher. You can see some photos of the crop, and you can see some photos from for the harvesting of the crops in Romania. It's multi-purpose crop, so it can be grown either for the flowers, either for the oil, either for the hemp. Is a biorefinery as a crop. And here you can see 3 projects working on this. Be cool. I will present it later, a few things about that. And Mrs. Melsini Christou is going to present it later in this session. And Forte is a new project between Greece and China, where we grow industrial hemp on contaminated land with heavy metals, and we use industrial hemp as a crop, promising crop for phytoremediation, and at the same time, we try to prepare bio-based materials like panels and resins from industrial hemp. The next crop is castor bean. Castor bean actually is not cultivated in a significant area in Europe, but I mention that because although it is not cultivated, it is imported in Europe from India, and it's a very valuable oil for the chemical industry. But recently, we tried to include it in the agriculture of the Mediterranean, and we're trying to do that also apart from MAGIC in BIKE. And this year for MAGIC, we are going to do in University of Thessaly, especially in Volos, we are going to do a big harvesting trial with collaboration with Christos Kavalaris, that is the next speaker after me. And we're trying to see how we can organize the harvesting of this very valuable crop. And in BIKE, we included also this crop either to be grown in Greece, Italy, or in Tunisia. Cardoon. Cardoon is a perennial crop that has the main advantage that we don't have to irrigate during the growing period because it grows every autumn, and we can do the harvesting in winter. You can see photos of the crop. The photos is from an area that is really marginal, and in this area, nothing used to be cultivated for more than 20 years. And you can see also a photo from harvesting trial in Spain. In this crop is being tested in both Panacea and MAGIC. Switchgrass and perennial and miscanthus. For miscanthus, for sure, the majority of you have heard a lot of things in European bio-based economy because it was the #1 perennial grass that was studied in the majority of research projects. Miscanthus has a big area that is, at least some area that's been growing in Europe, and recently, apart from the project mentioned here, it is the project Grace, that is a demo, a BBI project, and where miscanthus and industrial hemp are be growing on marginal land. Both of them, they use as a whole, as a biomass crop, as feedstock for bioethanol, bioenergy production, biopellets, and bio-based materials. The advantage of switchgrass for the Mediterranean is that it needs less water compared to miscanthus, and has switchgrass has the opportunity to be established by seeds, and this has give more flexibility in terms of establishment and less costly establishment cost. In Europe, we have 2 woody species with a lot of research, many projects, and these are willow and poplar. There is some area that's been growing in Europe for bioenergy. You can see some photos from here. We used to harvest from 3 to 5 years with a lifespan between 20 and 25 years. Again, the applications are more or less the same with miscanthus and switchgrass, but here we have the advantage that we have less ash compared to the other 2 perennial grasses. Sorghum. Sorghum is an annual crop. It's not. It's a crop that used to be used to be growing in Europe for grain, but this is a biomass sorghum that we included in Bicul project and moreover in Bike project, apart from Panacea and Magic. And in sorghum is being tested in Bicul project in rotation with other conventional crops, and you are going to see later on some graphs on that. Here it is, one photos from the CREST trial for Bicul. Here we have rotation. I will show later what is this rotation. We try to include several lignocellulosic crops between a typical rotation system that is wheat and corn. In between, we try to include sun hemp, industrial hemp, kenaf, and sorghum. Here I'm trying to explain what are these 6 rotations that we try to test it. The first C is the conventional one that between maize and wheat we have fallow, while the other 5 we try to include something different instead of fallow, and we saw that the yields of wheat that was after the second crops not only was decreased, but in some case it was increased. So with this rotation system, we saw when we included non-food crops, industrial crops, together with 2 conventional crops, we didn't affect negatively the yields of corn and wheat. That is very important. I will try to conclude my presentation, and here in this link, in this slide, you can see 4 very valuable links. In Panacea, we have a platform for the non-food crops. So if you go there, you can first register in order to learn more information about Panacea project, because we are going to do more events, 2 webinars, they are falling, and and in February we're going to have a final event. Here you can register, you can find valuable information about which projects have been carried out all these maybe 30 years on industrial crops in Europe, and moreover information about the non-food crops. In Magic, we have 3 more tools. The first tool is a database for the crops. For 37 industrial crops, you can find where to grow, how to grow, what is the limitation per crop, so you can understand the suitability per crop in terms of climate and in terms of marginality. The second tool of Magic is the maps. If you click there, you can see which are the area of marginal land for Europe per, and if you click in specific area, you can see what is the problem. And in the last tool is a decision support system for the farmers, for the relevant stakeholders to understand if they have a specific area with specific marginal problem. Let's say we are in this place and we have an area that is that the soil depth is very low. What we can cultivate as a farmer. Of course, all of these tools, they are going to take the final form at the end of their project. Last but not least, I would like to thank you all this project for supporting this work in CRES. Magic Panacea, Forte, Bi, Cosmos, Be Cool, and ForceMed. And you have the possibility to see more things about Be Cool in the presentation that will follow by Mrs. Messini Christou. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Effie, also for keeping the time, which is a lesson for everyone else to follow. So now I would like to ask Mr. Kavalaris. I think the problem is solved. Okay, you are in. Please proceed.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I will start in a moment. Okay, I think it's visible. Well, my name is Chris Kavalaris. I am the president of the Hellenic Association for the Promotion of Conservation Agriculture, and I will talk about conservation agriculture, what it is and what it represents. I will start my presentation by shooting some words on the wall. If you are a farmer, you may know that these are different kinds of tillage implements. And the question is, why so many different tools for just one single job? Does this mean that we don't know what to do with the soil? And what about leaving it alone? This is what conservation agriculture supports. And officially, by ICAF, conservation agriculture is defined as a sustainable production system comprising a set of farming practices adapted to the requirements of crops and the local conditions of each region, and the farming and soil management techniques protect the soil from erosion and degradation, improve soil quality, biodiversity, contribute to preservation of natural resources, water and air, and optimize crop yields. CA, conservation agriculture, is based on three principles, three pillars that are minimal soil disturbance, crop diversification, and permanent soil cover. And talking about minimum soil disturbance, we mean to avoid the scene shown on the left picture. It is a land that the farmer probably thinks that it is well prepared for the following crop, to sow the following crop, but actually what it is really, it is a destroyed land. Such scenes we don't see in nature, we see only in deserts. And we have to think that soil, it's a living organisms. It has a lot of life within it, and a lot of species have their habitat in there, and we should protect this habitat. We should avoid destroying this natural environment that supports life over Earth. This is a picture of today applied agriculture. This picture is taken here in Thessaly. You can see the place. It is a region with a great risk of erosion. And if we see this video, it's about 20 days before. You can see how how big is this area and how extended is the damage that is done to the soils. We have to consider that soil tillage has complex effects over the soil, and these interactions finally lead to reduced crop yields, increased production costs, and environmental pollution and destroy. And so what is conservation agriculture suggests? It suggests no soil disturbance, actually no tillage. Today we have many implements that we can sow crop even in such conditions as you see here, in over mulches and crop residues. We don't have to cultivate the land. We can dig a small furrow and put the seed in it. You see another picture of some machines that we use here in Thessaly to apply no tillage. And this is a nice picture of beans grown over mulch in no-till land in a pilot field here in Thessaly. Alternative to no tillage, there are some intermediate methods, that is reduced tillage or strip tillage. They also have some benefits, not so much as no tillage, but it's not so destructive as conventional tillage with plowing. The second pillar of conservation agriculture is, of course, crop diversification by using appropriate rotations with different species in order to benefit of the positives that we expect to have when we have rotations in our field. I don't want to talk more about it. This, we all know the benefits of crop rotations. And the third pillar is, of course, permanent soil cover. We should take care to have a permanent soil vegetation or mulch over the soil in order to protect the soil all over the year and sustain life in it. We have to consider that conservation agriculture is not only no tillage, it is the three pillars together. Otherwise, it can't be considered conservation agriculture. And if you think it is a system that can provide so many benefits to the soil, to the environment, and to the farmer. Think about reduced compaction to the soil, prevention of erosion, improving fertility, infiltration, to the environment, to the farmer, of course. And speaking about what we talk about today a lot, it is climate change. Just to show you a picture, what are the possibilities. Just 4 hectares under conservation agriculture may offset the CO2 emissions from 100 road trips by car from Athens to Thessaloniki and backwards. This is a scheme presenting the possibility, the ability of CA to fix soil carbon into the soil. You can see here it's about 2.85 tons CO2 per hectare per year. And this means that at a national level for Greece, and 6% contribution to the overall CO2 emissions. We can fix our carbon emissions and benefit with from organic carbon into the soil. Well, I will, because the time is quite short, I will finish my presentation with a few words about HACA. HACA is a non-profit scientific organization founded 20 years before in order to support conservation and sustainable agriculture in Greece. Our Greek name is Εταιρεία Προώθησης Αειφορικών Καλλιεργητικών Συστημάτων. And we are a member of the European Conservation Agriculture Federation, which has members also all over Europe, as you can see. We are also member of the 4 per mile initiative. And some actions that we do every year, we have some pilot fields here in Thessaly where we can go to the farmers and show them how it is done, sow some crops with our machines and try to promote CA. We also participated or organized some field days. We participate in national and international projects. We have done some TV shows, some seminars and conferences, all support conservation agriculture. Here's some pictures in Brussels in a meeting, and international meetings also to exchange opinions. And I will finish my presentation with this. Some of you may find it rather creepy, but I think it's a picture that can raise consciousness about what we are actually doing now in our soils, and what conservation agriculture should do, can provide to us in order to preserve our soils and have a sustainable agricultural production. Well, thank you very much for the attendance, and I will.
Thank you, Chris. It was really interesting also to understand the organization, what its activities are. And now I would like to call for Ms. Maria Proestou. You are in?
Yes, hello.
The E-floor is yours. As soon
yes,
as...
sorry, can I ask for something? Can I present after the next presenter, because I had some technical issues that I just fixed?
Okay, for me it's fine. Nikos Davos, sorry, Chris, can you stop sharing your screen, please?
Thank you.
And then Mr. Ketikidis, are you online?
Thank you. Thank you, Iakove. Dear organizers, thank you for this invitation. I will start my presentation just right now. Can you see it?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, one moment. Full screen.
Perfect. 10 minutes.
Okay.
Start now.
Thank you. Okay, the presentation is titled The Development of a Regional Innovation System in the Field of Bioeconomy. I will present a project which is called Bioeco RDI, Research-Driven Innovation for RDI. This is a project applied or funded within the Adriatic Ionian region, and the main topic of this project is how to exploit the biomass potential in the area based on agriculture, forestry, and fishery, which is abundant, especially in the Balkan region. This biomass is nevertheless unexploited in terms of valorization of the residues or the byproducts. So the project, the Bioeco RDI project, it wants to support the creation of and development of a regional innovation system based on a structured bioeconomy sector where the organic waste from the agriculture, the forestry, and the fishery will become input for the bio-based products or bioenergy according to the circular bioeconomy approach. So where do we implement this project? It is implemented, as said, in the Adriatic Ionian region, participating Italy, Umbria region, Vojvodina region in Serbia, Western Macedonia from Greece, and Croatia, Slovenia, and Albania. Who is participating? You see here a very nice triple helix approach, starting with public authorities, academia, and business sector, all complementing each other. So what do we want to do? What do we want to achieve with this project? First of all, we start with the bioeconomy. to develop the bioeconomy as a driver for regional innovation. Then we will promote the transnational integration among the triple helix actors, industry, academia, and government. To improve the bioeconomy, RDI, research-driven innovation is set, and clusters maturity level, and last but not least, to support the bio-based products market uptake. How do we want to achieve this? First of all, we start with a strategy design, strategy on a regional or national level, by identifying a strategic set of interventions aimed at developing the bioeconomy in these 6 countries or 6 regions, which are called pilot areas. And I will explain what do we mean by pilot. And then we'll go further to the bioeconomy international strategy, the bioeconomy RDI international strategy, designing a triple helix collaboration network and identifying areas of interventions for specific collaboration agreements. Capacity building and networking, very important if we are talking about a triple helix approach and if we are talking about how to promote innovation in the bioeconomy field. So we have capacity building activities, organization of a national and international workshops, benchmarking visits, mutual learning actions to increase technical skills and expertise of these triple helix actors regarding bioeconomy key topics. And then we have networking. The activation of Bioeco RDI, it is so-called web platform, conceived as a networking and mutual learning tool, organization, and of international matchmaking events. The strategy implementation, this is the 3rd step. What do we mean by strategy implementation? It is including a business support service established by each partner to support industrial conversion process, technology transfer for product and process innovation, to support clusters enforcement, innovative startup and spin-off processes, cross-sectoral integration, and boost the bioeconomy market and support the bio-based products market uptake. And then we have also the international cooperation agreements, which aim at setting up industrial research and experimental development projects, institutional partnerships, and international production or commercial agreements for bio-based products. Which sectors are in question? Starting with Italy, which is leading this project, we have identified, or Italy has, the Umbria region has identified the bioplastics sector, nanocellulose in Slovenia, aquaculture in Croatia. Western Macedonia has identified the waste management, since this region in Greece started as a pioneer region with a public-private partnership in waste management. Hemp, as also mentioned by Efthymia, industrial hemp or pharmaceutical hemp in Serbia, and olive oil in Albania. So since we are talking about a triple helix approach and about a regional strategy, which wants to highlight some aspects, some sectors of the bioeconomy field, there is a pilot application where we have some research activities and also some roadmaps, action plans in order to achieve what we will propose to the regional authority, how to enhance this sector, this bioeconomy field. In specific, the waste management, the supply chain, and the waste to energy approach as picked by the Greek partners. You see here, waste to energy approach, concentrating on the anaerobic digestion and aerobic composting in specific. The scheme or the rationale behind this anaerobic digestion or waste to energy approach is very simple. You see here, we have organic waste from farm, food, and sewage. It is entering the process, the anaerobic digestion process, and produced as biogas, either as a heating medium or for CHP, combined with heat and electricity produced. Or we can utilize the digestate, which is produced for the fertilization of the land, or upgrade the produced biogas by removing the CO2 to biomethane and then further to use it as a transport fuel. A lot of substrates are used. The raw material for this digestion process from agricultural wastes, discard from the slaughterhouses, from the industry, sugar, dairy, brewery, pulp and paper industry, and household wastes. I'm not sure about the time. Okay, I have 4 minutes, I see. Since we are talking about CERT's involvement in this pilot application, we have to highlight our expertise in relation to the regional strategy and in relation to the topic just chosen. So the technical assistance of CERT, the department here in Ptolemais, is based on the research laboratory in the biogas field, as said. So we are experimenting a lot with various kind of substrates, from the agro-industry byproducts, wastewater, municipal organic solid waste. Everything is used. It is pre-treated, used in BMP test, the biochemical methane potential tests. These are tests which are used to elaborate, to maximize, in one, simply put, the methane potential, and to elaborate or to analyze the biodegradability of the wastewater and the waste biomass. And of course, we have also pilot equipment, a laboratory in pilot equipment, like the bioreactor just seen here. It is a 30-liter CSTR. It stands for continuously steer tank reactor, and it is operating in the mesophilic or thermophilic temperature. The process of the anaerobic digestion is very simple. We start with the hydrolysis, acidogenesis, acetogenesis in order to produce methane, methanogenesis, methane, and CO2. Auxiliary equipment is also used because we have to analyze somehow the produced output, the biogas. We use also TOC analyzer for the wastewater, HPLC, high pressure liquid chromatography, GC, gas chromatography, and atomic absorption. You see here very nice charts about the biogas output produced during the experiments, which last above 1 month, often 2 months. And here you see the biogas users. As said, just for your information, CERT is a member of the Hellenic Association of the Biogas Producers. So a closer relation now to the project. If talking about collaboration, cooperation, and capacity building and network establishment, we have to mention that we started with some working groups, with some working group meetings with the regional authority in order to present them the strategy how to enhance this bioeconomy sector. Of course, it was very important to have an ear and to listen, to build trust with the local industry. So we organized a lot of workshops with local companies. You see here some of them. And then one minute. This is the last, Jakove, sorry, this is the last slide. And of course, apart from this, we have also some thematic international webinars on bioeconomy applications, matchmaking events, very important, just recently organized one, and of course, international virtually organized study visit and awareness raising events. And this is the last slide. Here are some contact details, some references, and the acknowledgement. Thank you very much for your attention.
Perfect. Thank you, Xavolandi. Just to make a note on one message in the chat, if you haven't noticed, there is the European Bioeconomy Network, which is an alliance of 70 projects and initiatives aiming to support bioeconomy.
Jakove, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I did not mention it, but Bioeconomy is a partner, is a partner of this alliance.
Perfect. No, I'm referring to anyone, to everyone. If you are aware of any such project who supports bioeconomy, please check European Bioeconomy Network and, of course, contribute them. Now, Maria, are you ready?
Yes. Hi. Hello again. Yes, I'm ready.
The e-floor is now yours.
Yes, thank you. So can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to present another, let's say, another perspective of the bioeconomy. And I'm going to talk about policy design for resilient bio-based production systems, something that this presentation is based on our conceptual work in the project Polar Bio at the Humboldt University in Berlin. So our current globalized world is characterized by phenomena that affect not only bio-based production systems, but also bioeconomy policymaking and governance. For example, you all know Brexit and its repercussions of the common agricultural policy, climate change effects such as soil erosion, heat waves, climate change denial, and the rise of right-wing populism and digitalization in many sectors, such as agriculture, as you see here in the screen. So in this context, and considering macro trends such as the new Green Deal and greening the COVID-19 recovery, for example, we have 60 countries that have adopted bioeconomy strategies and bioeconomy related policies, while a lot more are engaged in bioeconomy. And at the same time, concerns are growing about the resilience of bio-based production systems. And we have policy briefs and scientific literature that have expressed the need for resilient bioeconomies, but the determinants of resilient bio-based production systems, they have not received attention, especially when we compare this with the evaluation of sustainability issues in bioeconomies. And the other question that we have to raise and deal with is how can bioeconomies support the resilience of bio-based production systems? So following this, a few words about what is resilience. So I guess most of you are aware of this. So the resilience of a bio-based production system is its capacity to respond to disturbances caused by sudden shocks or long-term stresses, while maintaining its functionalities and structures. And these kind of disturbances actually are the same or similar phenomena as those I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation. So we have the degradation of ecosystems, financial crises, geopolitical conflicts, etc. And in our project, we argue that we need a framework to be able to identify the resilience orientation of bioeconomy policies. So the question is, how can we design resilient bioeconomies? And I will present you here 3 steps, which are 3 of the 5 steps we need to take when it comes to the policy design for resilient bioeconomy. So the first step is to determine political, economic, social, ecological, and context conditions. So this means that bioeconomy policies, they are not developed in isolation, and these context conditions affect the policy design space, and in particular the willingness and ability of the policymakers to develop effective bioeconomy policies that address societal and resilience concerns. I will show you later what I mean with these context conditions. I will show you some examples. The second step is to identify and characterize the bioeconomy policy mix. This means that we identify not only nominal bioeconomy policies, such as the national bioeconomy strategies, but also policies and regulations that address explicitly bioeconomy issues, for example, biotechnology and renewable energy policies or biomass roadmaps. And based on this identification, we analyze the policy mix with regard to its policy goals, instruments, scope, and problematization. And the third step is to characterize the bio-based production system, meaning to find out what is the resource system, the main units, the functions, the users, the beneficiaries, and of course the resilience challenges that threaten the delivery of the desired functions of the bio-based production systems. And here are some examples of these challenges. For example, institutional shocks such as regulative interventions, for example, a ban on pesticide use, or long-term stresses, such as here you see the decline of pollinators or changing consumer preferences. And here's an example of how we identify resilience challenges in a bioeconomic policy. The example here, I have the strategy on bioenergy of Australia. And here, by using the software MaxQDA and based on our code system, we select and we mark the text that refers to resilience challenges. And in this case, the resilience challenges are, you can read, basically land competition and environmental stresses. And here is an application of the 3 steps I showed you before in the bioenergy production system in Germany. So we had, if you remember, the first step were the context conditions. So in Germany, we have a strong rise of the Green Party since the late 90s. And the Green Party pursued a strategy on ecological modernization, which means investments in green technology, basically. And there were calls for energy autonomy because of growing concerns about the dependence on gas imported from the increasingly authoritarian Russia. And also the Renewable Energy Act, which established feed-in tariffs and subsidy schemes and guaranteed prices. So all of these contributed to a significant growth of the bioenergy sector. And the policy mix we study consists of these 2 strategies. Without neglecting the Renewable Energy Act I just mentioned. And we see that the bioenergy production system is based mainly on the cultivation of maize. This production requires heavy machinery and a lot of fertilizers. So we have resilience challenges, maize monocropping, which puts pressures on water resources and biodiversity. We have intensive use of fertilizers, pesticides, meaning that this decreases the organic matter and affects the soil fertility, productivity, And we had the biomass high prices that have contributed to a high demand for agricultural land. And this led to high land prices. And of course, this was attractive for external investors who acquired large-scale agricultural land, and this caused partially structural change.
Maria,
so this was my last slide. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. Now, Nikos, back to Kozani again.
Hello, all. Do you hear me and do you see me?
Yes, please.
Excellent. I will share my screen now. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes. Just to go to presentation mode, you are okay.
Okay. Now?
Yes. Perfect. You can proceed.
So, good evening from Klube, from Kozani, as Jakob said. Thank you, Jakob. Thank you, Electra, for giving us the floor for presenting one of our projects related to the very interesting workshop of the Forum of the Bioeconomy. So my name is Nikos Davos, and together with Ms. Patti Kanigaridou, we are running and part of Klube, our Nomad project. Nomad is a project of Horizon 2020, and the full name is a novel organic recovery using a mobile advanced technology. I will have to say that we are very proud for this project because this is an initiative of our cluster. So I will present what we are trying to accomplish here. But first, I will present some, I will say just a few words about our cluster. So we are formally established in 2014 among local actors and stakeholders of the region of Western Macedonia in northern western part of Greece. We are a non-profit organization, and we develop R&D and business activities in the field of bioeconomy, bioenergy, and environment in order to reinforce the green, smart, and circular economy in the region and the neighboring area. In January 2019, the General Assembly of Klube anonymously decided to rename Klube to Cluster of Bioeconomy and Environment of West Macedonia from Cluster of Bioenergy and Environment of West Macedonia. We have more than 40 members from the quintuple helix spectrum. So we have public authorities like the Regional Authority of West Macedonia, the Regional Development Fund, and the Union of Municipalities. We have R&D institutes like CERT. Valadis is CERT from Valadis presented a few slides ago. They are a member of ours, along with the University.
Nico, yes. Excuse me, but you are in presenter mode. I don't know if you noticed.
No.
It's no problem. We can see, but it's not the full screen. I had the same problem yesterday when the rehearsal, but I don't know how it's fixed. Anyway.
Nikos, you have to change it on your computer. On your computer, select the presentation mode.
Well, anyway, we can proceed as it is. I mean,
now?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Sorry for that. As I already told you, we have different kind of enterprises, SMEs mainly, but also environmental and social organizations. And nowadays we are running, doesn't change. Okay. Nowadays we are running a couple of projects, 8 Horizon 2020 projects, 2 national projects, and 2 Interreg cross-border projects with North Macedonia. So Circular bioeconomy. It is a necessary condition for our society to continue its development into follow a new circular economy model that will reduce waste as well as the need for new resources. The transition to a circular economy, including circular bioeconomy, is a huge opportunity to create competitive advantages in a sustainable approach. So the application of the principles of the circular bioeconomy in the urban but also in the rural environment has the potential to create significant economic benefits, multiple new green jobs, and to play a central role in improving the environment. So in the framework of this bioeconomy spectrum, we co-developed the NOMAD project. So NOMAD takes an original disruptive approach, offering a small-scale tech solution designed to reduce digestate volume and recover nutrients, fiber, and water to produce high-quality biofertilizer and soil amender project. It is, as already said, an EU-funded Horizon 2020 project. We have 15 partners, 7 EU countries, and China together in the consortium. It is a 3-year project with 5.5 million euros in total of cost. So in here, what we are trying to develop is a mobile circular organic model. So we have a truck and a trailer. We are building this right now in order to take from the biogas plants the digestate, process it on board, and produce different kind of products like digestate sludge, like water and fertilizer products. But also we are solving some issues that the digestate has. So this is the main concept. But for creating the future of farming, this is what we have to do. Climate change, ecosystem degradation, and growing population are forcing us to think new ways of producing and consuming that respect the ecological limits of our planet. So 46% of our global waste is organic. So we would like to make this useful. So NOMAD's unique feature pioneer the way digestate is used in future circular bioeconomies with state-of-the-art mobile technology, which can treat a wide range of digestates to recover key nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus using advanced nutrient recovery techniques, remove harmful antibiotic compounds and eliminate pathogens, and provide validated post-treatment options for digestate fiber. Research reveals that long-term digestate use can result in soil acidification, phytotoxic buildup of micronutrients, and decreased worm population. Turning digestate into compact, high-performance fertilizer and soil improvers will enable a balanced fertilizer and soil organic matter inputs, improved soil fertility and soil ecosystems, and the long-term sustainable productivity. So in order to close the loop, NOMAD will also reduce the digestate storage requirements and ensure that nothing is wasted in order to achieve a full circular organic resource management. So the reduction of digestate volume will be up to 70 to 80%. All digestate fractions will be turned into high-value products, and the recovery of water for irrigation, wastewater or purification into potable water. So regarding the pilot that we have in Greece, so the Greek demonstration will test NOMAD concept over challenging high hilly terrain in Western Macedonia, of course. Digestate will be collecting from 3 anaerobic digestion biogas plants, processing of animals' manure, expired foodstuff, and vegetable oil waste within a 40-kilometer radius. Recovery of organic nutrients from the liquid fraction will be composted with us from biomass boilers, which currently goes to landfill, but also trials will be conducted using these fertilizers compost for crops cultivation. In Italy, the second demonstration area, NOMAD will target 80 plants processing crop waste. As the Italian legislation on waste management, construction, and operation of anaerobic digestion plant is the strictest in Europe, successfully testing NOMAD in such a context will help build and compelling case for the marketability of its solutions throughout Europe. In Malta, the third demonstration area, which is, of course, a small island with dry soil conditions and limited space, this demonstration will use digestate from municipal wastewater to show the potential benefits of a circular approach. Currently, wastewater digestate sludge amounts to 10 to 15 tons per day, which is currently landfill. Nomad will recover the fiber for landscaping and extract valuable nutrients from agriculture. In the end, UK, the demonstration in the United Kingdom will take digestate from a large municipal anaerobic digestion plant and process it on site to reduce volume and recover nutrients. It will utilize surplus heat from the plant's 1 megawatt of CHP unit and recover water, which will be stored on site for use as wastewater. These trials will explore the static application of Nomad technology to reduce digestate disposal costs and related emissions for larger plants. So the field trials will be made in the next 2 years in contrast of different geographical location across 4 countries, as already mentioned, by products tailored according to end user requirements and addressing country-specific regulatory bottlenecks. Nomad will also develop an online tool to help farmers match soil and crop requirements with fertilizer and soil improver inputs. This will not only support your soil condition, but will also help to save costs by applying only the amount of fertilizers required, avoid phytotoxic buildup of trace minerals, and reduce emissions and comply with new, stricter regulations for air and water quality.
Nico, if you please hurry up.
Yes, I will try to be fast. Creating show Nomad's benefits at a glance. It's creating new revenue streams for small AD plants, reducing pasteurization capital and operational cost, reducing storage capacity and removal costs for digestate, catalyzing investment in smaller AD plants by making them economically feasible, expecting value to other available waste byproducts, and expanding commercial opportunities for existing businesses, reducing fertilizer, soil amender, and water costs, and improving the environmental impact of digestate. So Nomad vision, flexible services model with expert technical operation, payback period of 3.5 years, expanding opportunities for circular enterprises, creating training, quality employment in rural and urban areas, and supporting resource-efficient sustainable agriculture. These are the partners of Nomad. In Greece, we have CERT, we have the Adima, the waste management company of Western Macedonia, and Mathesion, and CERT is the leader of this proposal. So sorry for taking much of your time. I will be available for any questions afterwards.
Thank you very much, Nico. Well, 3 times, I'm sure Mirsini will catch up. The next speaker. Mirsini?
Yes, I will try. I was muted as
Perfect.
usual. Okay, I will try now to share my screen. And can you see it?
Yes, perfect.
Hold on, I have to find. All right, so I have to be back on the top. Good afternoon from me as well. Many thanks to the organizers, to Electra, who accepted my last offer to present the work we are doing in BICUL. Congratulations so far, because indeed you have selected quite a variety of presentations dealing with soil plus the bioeconomy, so many congratulations for that. I will go quickly to my point that I have I thought it would be nice to share with you the crop rotation systems for advanced biofuels and for bio-based products. This is a part of the work we are doing in BICUL. But first, to say some words for CRES. For those who do not know us, we are the Center for Renewable Energy Sources and Saving. It is a Greek national center for renewable energy sources, all renewables, biomass, geothermy, solar thermal, hydrogen, etc. and as well as rational use of energy and energy saving. We were founded in 1971, and we actually supervised by the Ministry of Environment and Energy, although we do have a certain administrative and financial independence. We have two directions that we work on. First, we are a national energy center. That means that we support the policy making process. So we are consultant to the ministry regarding to the Ministry of Environment and Energy regarding policies formulations, investment programs, energy planning, and so on. As well as we are working on the research part, doing research and innovation on new and renewable energy technologies and energy efficiency technologies. So the part that me and Effie are working, we belong to this direction as an energy center when we are doing research work on biomass. Personally, I'm leading the biomass department of CRES. So a few words about Be Cool. It started in June 2027, then we will finalize it in May 2022. It is an Horizon 2020 project with a new contribution of 5 million euros, coordinated by the University of Bologna in Italy. The main purpose of this project is to collaborate, a collaboration between Brazil and EU on the development of advanced biofuels coming from lignocellulosic feedstock. We are 12 partners from EU and from 7 EU countries, but we have also our sister project in Brazil, the BioValue, that is supported by something like 20 partners, mostly research institutes, that and we collaborate in research on this field. So regarding our the presentation of today, the topic of today's meeting, we are carrying out research on value chains. We are evaluating value chains for several biomass types, and we work on cultivation, harvesting, logistics, and conversion technology. So we come from the beginning to the end. And within the feedstock production, we work on innovative crop rotation systems, among others, in order to diversify crops and in order to increase the annual quantity of lignocellulosic feedstock without affecting food production, without affecting soil quality, in the opposite, protecting soil quality, and of course, without affecting the customary uses in our areas. We have 3 experimental sites in Greece, Italy, and Spain. And the rotation we carry out is that we use maize the first year, non-food crops the following year. I will let you know which are exactly. Then wheat and sun hemp as a legume. And then the cycle go back again to maize, non-food wheat, and sun hemp. The reason we selected only Mediterranean areas and South European is because we wanted to have similar conditions with Brazil. And we have here the temperature that is higher in Greece and a bit lower in Italy and Spain. However, the precipitation plays a crucial role in our experiments, as we are with a low precipitation rate, we and the Spanish partner, while in South Italy, the precipitation was quite high. Now, regarding the crop rotations, it was mentioned before by the previous speakers. I would really like to stick on that and suggest that and present some advantages of it. Of course, they are much more than that, but it enhances soil fertility, for instance, because of the rooting system of the different crops involved in the crop rotation systems, which go at different levels of the soil. So that helps, and by also including several crops with different nutrient absorption from the soil, it helps soil recover when one demanding crop follow another one that is not that demanding in the specific nutrients. So with soil fertility and soil structure improved with the crop rotations we have, we can achieve higher yields for the crops that are involved in. Lower risks for soil erosion since the land is always covered by a certain crop cultivation. Reduce use of agrochemicals and fertilizers because of all the above, and also because we include in the crop rotations legumes that have the ability of converting the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogen in the soil, so that helps the subsequent crop that will come. Other advantages are the water conservation, because of the soil has improved the soil water capacity because of the improved soil structure. Efficient land use, which is not only efficient, but also it can offer diversified production of several products that have market opportunities, and could also withstand the climatic risk if, for instance, a drought destroys one crop, then there is the following one that could really help in producing a certain food production, or another whatever else is included in the crop rotation scheme, so that helping the farmers increase their income. Increased biodiversity and less monotony of the landscape, and time-diluted farming activities, since the existing farming machinery can be used throughout the year, since more than one crops are grown. However, the system has disadvantages, like the significant investments needed, and they are needed in front, because the farmer has to have seeds available, has to have the machinery available right from the beginning of the cultivation. And then he has also to have diversified agricultural equipment and agricultural supplies, since more than one crops are grown in the very same area, which means that the farm organization has to be in high levels developed, and also the farmer should have higher skills in order to be able to manage different crops, different growing systems. And usually farmers are not familiar with all the crops that could be involved in a crop rotation. Another disadvantage is that these crop rotations, these crop sequences do not leave the choice to farmers to select which crop to grow every time, because they have to follow a strict scheme, what crop comes after the other. So that leaves him no availability, no flexibility to choose what crop to grow in one specific year. And for a profitable crop, for the most profitable crop, sometimes he has reduced land availability, as this crop has to be grown at certain time of the year, so that it could be harvested before the sowing season of the subsequent crop. Going now to our experiments, there are crop rotations that are dedicated for specific reasons. For instance, there are crop rotations destined for producing food. There are crop rotations destined for producing bioproducts or producing energy, or a mixture of them. In our systems, since we have to grow, we have to deal with energy and biofuels production, because that was the aim of the specific project, we had to organize crop rotations according to the production of biofuels. So we selected 4 well-producing crops, energy crops or industrial crops, non-food anyway. Fiber sorghum, as Effie mentioned before, we have a considerable experience on growing it. It's a low input energy and fiber crop with high biomass yields from 20 up to 40 tons per hectare of dry matter. This range is because every time is cultivated in different climates and geographic locations. So it is natural that we could have such a wide range of yields. It can be grown for energy, biofuels, as well as for a number of bioproducts. Sun hemp is a legume with 7 to 20 tons of per hectare of dry biomass yields. It is used as a legume so that to provide with more nitrogen into the soil. Kenaf and hemp are both fiber crops mostly used for bioproducts. They are producing 10 to 20 tons per hectare of dry biomass yields for kenaf and something like 8 tons of per hectare of dry straw yields for hemp. Both they could be used as a lignocellulosic feedstock for biofuels, although their use for bioproducts is of course of higher economic value. So from the projects, I'm closing. Oh, okay.
Well,
all right. Very, very quickly then, we have seen that we have those rotation schemes, the traditional one with maize, wheat, and again maize and wheat. The other scheme is with maize, sun hemp, fiber sorghum, kenaf, and hemp the next year. Then follows wheat, sun hemp, maize, and so on. And one rotation with sun hemp and wheat only. So we saw that the grain yields, the red, sorry, it is for, I'm sorry. For Italy, the blue line, the blue column is for Greece, and the green for Spain. So for Greece, staying for Greece, we have seen that the wheat grain yields remained almost the same, unaffected by our rotations, while biomass had specifically higher yields. This is the conventional crop rotation systems, and these are the rotation systems with the new crops. So we saw that we have significant increase of biomass without affecting the yields. And this it is easily to show that maize and wheat are the basic source of straw, of biomass, while the rest is thanks to the new crops. So in conclusion, crop rotations could be a useful strategy to enhance soil health, of course, and at the same time produce energy and several bioindustrial projects. In our energy-oriented crop rotation schemes, we saw that we could introduce biomass crops, lignocellulose crops, without affecting the food market, without affecting the grain yields, and at the same time increasing the yields. We have seen different data for different productivities for fiber sorghum and kenaf, but those are really very high producing crops, so we recommend it for this reason. This is the partners from the project, and more information you can trace in the website of the project. Many thank you for that, and to mention that we are the team is coordinated by Unibo, Andrea Monti, and Walter, while from CRES it's me and Effie, and from CMAT, Carlos and Pilar. Many thanks and apologies for the time.
Problem. Thank you, Mersini. Last but not least of this session, Professor Trigas.
Yes, Iacovos.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, but Mersini, please stop sharing. So.
Sorry. Apologies. Forgot. Hold on. Hold on. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. I will share my
Marius,
screen.
you're up.
Okay. You see my slide, the presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you, Iacovos. Thank you, Electra, for the invitation, and congratulations for this very interesting initiative and workshop regarding the World Soil Day. I have to mention that is my first time for being into a meeting at a conference during this day. And it is a very big pleasure for me to mainly hear familiar voices and to see familiar faces. So my presentation is a part of a master thesis that we had in the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. I'm Marios Trigas. I am an assistant professor at the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, and has to do with the environmental, technological, and economic approaches of the meaning of the bioeconomy in Greece. And of course, our idea for this research was based on the fact that during our experience dealing with the concept of bioeconomy, we see different approaches among the stakeholders and the researchers, scientists, and with people dealing with the bioeconomy. So we tried to investigate what is this meaning all about here in Greece. And this is something that we see in the literature as well. Thus, while bioeconomy lies to science and technology, its perspective and impact may have quite wider results. Main approaches are mainly ecological and technological oriented, while some others focus to the development of the market of bioeconomy. So our aim was to shed some light on this emerging concept, focusing, of course, to the Greek economic and production reality. And of course, if we may contribute to set the foundations for the shaping and determination of the meaning, using environmental, economic, scientific, and technological approaches from specialized surveyed key stakeholders here in Greece. As I have mentioned, our literature review shows that bioeconomy was initially introduced by scientists dealing mainly with the industrial impacts of the evolutions in biology, and became mainstream as a meaning because as a policy idea after the launching of the EU bioeconomy strategy. Initially, two major dimensions were highlighted: the perspective for innovations through biotechnology and the perspective for substituting non-renewable resources, of course, focusing to the use of biomass for the production of biofuels and other bio-based products. However, the EU strategy is under criticism, has been under criticism by people who believe that it is focused too much to the market and technological development. And according to other scholars, bioeconomy is about a social transformation procedure, a very dynamic procedure and extremely complicated, aiming to the gradual shifting of fossil bio-based economy to a sustainable bio-based economy. You mentioned before about strategies. Despite some differences among countries, all official strategies envision a technology-based transition to the bioeconomy. And an alternative vision of this approach has been developed as well in the scientific and societal debate, focusing mainly on socio-ecological aspects and alternatives. And researchers also support that technology and environmental-oriented implementation pathways for the bioeconomy are considered to be combinable, while in the scientific and societal debates, these are seen as contradictory. So this is a question. Of course, all these approaches and all of these different visions of bioeconomy may lead to different strategies design. And if we do not have an integrated approach of the meaning, the result may be to adopt a fragment approach and a fragment not a completed strategy development. We believe also here in Greece that we have many significant opportunities to develop a bioeconomy strategy and concept, and to develop a sustainable to achieve sustainable development by adopting a new economic model. So some of the research questions that may arise are, as we can see, which are the main approaches that the Greek key stakeholders follow to shape the concept of bioeconomy? Which one of these emerging approaches is prevailing? Are these approaches in line with the EU strategy? And how can these approaches become the foundations of Greek national strategy for bioeconomy? So in order to answer to these results, we used a specially constructed questionnaire, and we addressed Greek bioeconomy key stakeholders, such as environmental, economic, and technological universities and research organizations. Maybe our questionnaire reached you as well. Business associations and public authorities, such as ministries dealing with natural environment. We finally managed to collect around 70 answers. Our initial results, we have to elaborate more on the results, okay, shows that mainly we had answers from university and research centers, and the main activity of the survey was research and development, and of course education and training, with the other activities to follow, like financial support or technology services providers, etc. Regarding the field, the scientific field that bioeconomy is focused, we see that the mainstream approach is that bioeconomy focuses to ecology. Of course, we have several other different answers that, as we see, the variance is not so big enough. So we can say they are very close to the opinions. So ecology, innovation and entrepreneurship, and economic and social sciences, as long as with food science. The level in which the bioeconomic concept could be developed, we see that the policy level that prevails, such as in environmental policy level, as well in industrial policy or economic policy and economic strategy. And of course, at the level of studies, postgraduate or doctoral studies, and as interdisciplinary training programs across the EU. The environmental approach shows that the key stakeholders also correlate very much bioeconomy with circular economy, and the circular bioeconomy model is prevailing. So the main answers has to do with the efficient use of resources, sustainable management of renewable and biological resources, and of course waste minimization and adoption of a circular economy model. Technological approach. Here we see that the main answer has to do with the minimization of environmental impacts in the product's life cycle, technologies regarding transformation of waste to added value products, and of course production of bio-based products with specific characteristics. And of course they believe that the technological approach of the bioeconomy is in direct relation or the same with the circular economy. Economic approaches, here we see that the creation of new knowledge and capabilities is prevailing, along with the development of new businesses and value chains, and the promotion of sustainable consuming and development of new consuming models. The barriers, the main barrier seems to be the lack of a national bioeconomy strategy. And of course, the resistance to change and lack of innovation culture by the stakeholders and lack of information among citizens and enterprises. So these are some barriers that we have to overcome in order to promote the concept here in Greece. As a conclusion, as our first conclusions, we see that the concept of bioeconomy still, since is still here in Greece and emerging meaning. Also it constitutes, according to national bibliography, an interdisciplinary and cross-sectoral concept and a complex concept. So we either see to prevail the ecological approach, either the technological or the socio-economic approach. Our initial findings are compatible with these conclusions, but we have to also work on them in order to have more specific conclusions on the issue. And also these different approaches can lead to the development of different strategies for the bioeconomy. We believe that our research will contribute also to this debate and help us form the concept of bioeconomy and the content of bioeconomy here in Greece as well. And we believe that we will be also able to offer to this debate highlighting practical and managerial issues for the implementation of the bioeconomy concept in Greece. And also, we believe that we will be able to investigate at which level the opinions of bioeconomy experts in Greece are close to the existing EU strategy, and how could a potential Greek strategy for the bioeconomy could be formed. Thank you very much for your attention and your time.
Thank you, Marios. I only would like to add, because I really liked the analysis that you did towards the experts in Greece, but because in another project that QPlan is involved in called BioBridges, we carried out an analysis on the perception on bioeconomy from the non-experts, citizens. European-wide survey, more than 1,000 responses, and now we are currently in the process of analyzing the results. It will be over to be submitted at the end of December. But it was another approach from the other side of the coin.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you everyone for this first session. I think it's time to have a 10 minutes short break, coffee, toilet, whatever, sandwich, whatever. Let's meet in 5:30 Greek time, 4:30 CET. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Well, shall we start again the second session? I think we are ready. I would like to thank again all the participants. We are more than 150 people here now, all together. This event is co-organized by the Greek Bioeconomy Forum, by CRES, by the master degree on bioeconomy, circular economy and sustainability of University of Piraeus, and of course of QPlan with Iacovos Deoklanis on behalf of the European projects BioVoices. Right now we will proceed with the moderator of the second session, Dr. Efi Alexiadou, who will present the second part of our event. Thank you very much. Efi, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon again. In the second session, we are going to have 5 presentations. We have a small change. We are going to skip the first presentation due to technical problems, and we will start with a third presentation. And I would like to invite Mr. Nikos Damatis, who is going to present biochar, a renewable carbon at the service of circular agriculture. So, Nikos, if you are ready, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Effie. Thank you, Electra, and the organizers of this very important workshop. I would like to share my screen for the presentation. So can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. So my name is Nikos Damatis. I'm a Secretary General of the Hellenic Biomass Association, Helabiom in Greek, and I'm going to talk about the biochar and its renewable role as a carbon at the service of circular agriculture. A few words about Helabiom. It's a renewable energy association established in Greece since the 1990s. Main objectives is the promotion of scientific research, provision of consultation and education services to different stakeholders, cooperation with companies, government bodies, execution of service in the bioenergy field, and also the expression of interest on behalf of the bioenergy and bioeconomy stakeholders in Greece. A number of members we have, it's both from the corporate field and also from individuals, scientists, engineers, researchers, and entrepreneurs who share a common interest in the sustainable development of the biomass sector in Greece. Our main activities is lobbying and policy advocacy, consultation, participation and organization of conferences, presentation seminars, design and communication campaigns, and using different tools of communication mix. And also we have international partners. We are participating in Bioenergy Europe, the European Bioenergy Association, and also we are a reciprocal member with the German Biogas and Bioenergy Society, which promotes the sustainable and socially acceptable generation of energy from biomass. We're now facing global challenges. Of course, we have COVID-19 right now, but this eventually will pass, and we have ahead the very crucial challenge of the growing population, which will reach 9 billion people by 2050, and this will eventually increase food production by 70%. This will pose further challenges for the depletion of natural resources and the degradation of soil. Today, agriculture accounts for 14% of energy consumption and 70% of water usage. But in order to be able to feed this growing population, if we keep the same pace of agricultural practices, then we will by far exceed the long-term 2 degrees Celsius threshold, which was set in the Paris Agreement, and even if emissions from all other human activities were entirely eliminated. So activities have a severe pressure, and more pressure is expected on ecosystems, natural resources, and soil fertility and health. So what could be the solution? Can biochar play the role of an agent of change? Well, first of all, biochar is a solid product. It is obtained by pyrolysis of biomass in the absence of oxygen. It is a carbon-rich and porous material, and among many applications, it can be used as an ameliorant of soil for carbon sequestration and soil health retention and remediation. It is also listed as one of the methods, one important method to mitigate global warming and to participate in negative emission technologies scheme. It can improve productivity in the farming, and recently it has attracted attention for livestock farming as animal feed. Biochar is not a new story. Its history dates back from the times of Amazon Indians, where they managed to turn infertile sandy soils to fertile fields, and these were having a distinctive dark color called terra preta. The techniques being used at these times were neglected in history, but they were put in the surface again in the middle of the 20th century, and new interest was placed to biochar, to this technique. Biochar and charcoal are similar in that they are using similar processes, the process of pyrolysis, and similar input materials. The main difference is that charcoal is almost exclusively made from wood, whereas biochar is made from wood and agricultural biomass. And charcoal is final application is basically as a fuel for heating and cooking, whereas biochar has an abundance of applications, as we will see. Biochar production, biochar is produced from thermochemical conversion, TC. It's basically the baking of organic material using little or no oxygen. Depending on the particular technology used, it can generate heat, electricity, and bio-oil or pyrolysis oil. It is increasingly viewed as a cost-effective option for diverting and reducing organic materials which are currently sent to landfills. Its main characteristics is that it has porosity, and due to its porous nature, it can play this similar role as the coral reefs are playing at the sea. So it can host habitats and support. It can support the habitat for microbes. It can hold water and nutrients in the rhizosphere, which is the soil region surrounding plant roots where bacterial activity occurs. So this can be made available to the plants. The two basic characteristics, it's AC and CEC. AC is the absorption capacity. It's the property that it can incorporate much more quantity of nutrients than its surface. Also, the second important characteristic is the high cation exchange capacity, which is the measure and the ability to bind positively charged ions, which is known as cations. And these are under appropriate conditions, it can trap microorganisms, which can be later made available to plants. In order to be useful, though, it has to be activated. That means that first of all, it has to be loaded with nutrients and water, colonized with microorganisms, and made available to plants and aged by oxidation. There is a process, there are different approaches and patterns on that, but a common process is that there should be enough moisture that prevents that there should be enough moisture present so that nutrients can dissolve. A high diversity of organic nutrients should be used. And most important nutrients for microbial colonization and organic carbon and nitrogen, which are particularly limited in fresh coal. The carbon to nitrogen ratio should be between 25 and 35. Duration of the charge should be at least 14 days. And then inoculation can take place with soil-borne microbes through the addition of humus-rich soil, compost, or selected microorganisms. Benefits of biochar application in agriculture is found in 7 different sectors, as we can see here. It can be used in the stable climate and for the animal welfare improvement. It can be used in manure and slurry treatment, in compost production by improving its quality, in the field to increase yields, in the soil to enhance humus formation, water holding capacity, nutrient buffering, also in biogas plants to stabilize the process and increase gas yield, and in the forestry in order to enhance root growth, yield, and also stress tolerance. At the moment, there are different levels of maturity for the markets of biochar, but it is considered increasingly as a tool for the circular bioeconomy of our present world and in future years. So although it is at the moment present more in agriculture, we can see a multitude of other sectors like fuel cell, carbon offsets, 3D printing, packaging materials, building materials, livestock filtration, remediation, and gardening. And all these applications, of course, depend on the available volume of biomass, on the value of the end product which is being developed, and the readiness of the technology. And there's a lot of work undergoing. And for the biochar community, there are many scientists at the moment working on different feedstock on biochar, and also there is a European biochar certificate, which is a voluntary biochar industry standard in Europe, which is developed to enhance good practices and limit the risks of biochar usages. And there is a recently formed European Biochar Industry Consortium, which supports the development of European biochar and pyrolysis industry, particularly eliminating the entry barriers to the market. And here are the links that you can find later on in the presentation for more information. And the Hellenic Biomass Association can organize different events and provide more information about these new opportunities that are ahead of us with biochar and its role in the bioeconomy of the future. So thank you very much.
Nico, thank you very much for being precise on the time. A very nice presentation. And we have to go now to the second presentation. And I would like to invite Dr. Antonino Buindo to make his presentation on exploring new opportunities for sustainable bio-based materials from lignocellulosic biomass extractive. So Antonino, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Do you see my presentation, my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me and for giving me the opportunity to hold this presentation about exploring new opportunities for sustainable bio-based materials from extractives this time. So this work was done at the KTH, Royal Institute of Technology of Stockholm. And first of all, I would like to remind everyone that we are here especially to greet the World Soil Day that was just a couple of days ago, and is about to keep the soil alive and especially keep the nutrients that are present in the soil and like reduce as much as possible the overutilization of the soil, also to protect the biodiversity both in the soil and above, especially because at the moment what we are using as a feedstock for the production of our products is mostly petroleum, which is underneath all the soil that we are actually talking about today. And most of the products that we produce, both disposable and non-disposable, become from, actually derived from petroleum. And especially polymers. Polymers right now are especially overly produced and produced in very high amount, and most of them cannot be degraded. Like right now, we produce 300 million tons of plastics globally per year, and most of them can be used for packaging, for building and construction, automotive and electronics, and also other fields. But most of them, like for example, polypropylene and polyethylene, cannot be degraded into the environment. And for this reason, they are actually degraded by abiotic activities, especially the sea waves, for example, or the sun, creating also microplastics that will remain and will actually enter the food chain that we actually consume every day. So, but of course there can be the change, and the change is of course the biomass that we are talking today about, and especially the forest and other products where we can collect both cellulose, lignin, and demicellulose, of course, that we know that they have already a function in our environment and in our world. But of course, there are also underutilized products like furans, fatty acids, and terpenes. And especially, I would like to focus on the terpenes and especially on turpentine. And of course, you all know about the amazing resins from the pine trees, especially the Aleppo pine trees on Evia Island, for example, where you can actually produce the resina or other products and so on. But the turpentine can be, it's actually a mixture of different terpenes, mostly alpha-pinene, beta-pinene, and a mixture of different other terpenes. But one of the most important component is, of course, alpha-pinene. It is also present in the cannabis sativa, which is actually the industrial hemp that was previously shown by Professor Efi Alexopoulou. Like what we wanted to do is actually to do this retro-biosynthesis of polyesters. So we all know that polyesters, like what is shown here, for example, for biodegradable polyesters, so aliphatic polyesters, and in this case, polycaprolactone, can be produced from lactones, and these lactones can actually derive from cyclic ketones. And we actually wanted to do something very similar. So think about one of these structure and identify a bio-based building block which can derive from waste products like alpha-pinene, because at the moment alpha-pinene is mostly burned to produce energy, and then through a chemoenzymatic catalysis produce a building block which can then be polymerized to produce something novel, which can have also very cool functions, very cool properties. So what we designed was this pathway that we already knew that alpha-pinene through an electrochemistry and chemistry approach can be transformed into this compound called the cis-verbanon. So we wanted to introduce an oxygen atom into this structure to create from a cyclic keton a lactone that can then go under a ring opening polymerization to produce novel polyesters. So we identified an enzyme that is called cyclohexanone monoxygenase from Acinetobacter, and as the name says, it actually can transform cyclohexanone into caprolactone with the use of oxygen and the cofactor NADPH. But the thing is that this enzyme is actually not so able to accept a bulkier substrates. So for example, this cis-verbanon, as you can see, it is a bicyclic compound, and instead cyclohexanone is quite planar. So we went inside like the active site of the enzyme, and we figured out that since the substrate that we wanted to use is too bulky, we needed to enlarge the active site to make sure that the substrate and the product can actually go inside, be inside the active site, and also be released from the active site. So what we did, we carried out a set of site-directed mutagenesis of the active site, and we created a library of variants from this enzyme, and we tested the enzyme on the natural substrate, which is the cyclohexanone, and of course we tested it also on our substrate, on this bulky substrate, which is the cis-verbanon. And we identified that especially one variant, this L426A variant, was could be a good candidate for a follow-up study, and especially we scaled up the reaction, and we were able to transfer the reaction from only 5% conversion to a 39% conversion, which was pretty cool. And then afterwards, what we did, we extracted the compound from the mixture with the enzyme, and we carried out a polymerization reaction with a cationic catalyst, which is the methyl sulfonic acid, and we carried out this ring opening polymerization also with alone, so the verbanon lactone alone, or also with the decalactone, which is another natural lactone. And we found out that also with the thermic analysis, with the thermal analysis, especially with the glass transition temperature, we saw that in this first row, we saw that the TG was much higher compared to all the other products that we created. So we are actually going ahead with the production, with the scale up of the product, especially to test the activity and the properties of these new polymers, especially with coating properties, and also we are looking for getting more partners also for other projects, especially European projects. So I would like to thank the Perulov Siren Lab, and especially, of course, the PI, Perulov Siren, Eva Malmström, and of course also the PhD student Arnestam, who carried out all the polymerization reactions. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. You were exactly on time, and the presentation was very interesting and very familiar to me. So I think it's time to go now to Electra Papadopoulos. She's going to present her work on plastics and the interesting of plastics on bioeconomy. So Electra, if you are ready, you can start.
Yes. Hold on a second to
share your screen.
my screen. Yeah.
It's always so stressful.
Well, here it is.
There you can upload it from your computer.
Yes, yes, now
it
it's
is,
starting.
Okay.
Yes. Please only do
most
it.
Probably there were many documents opened.
Yes, exactly. And can you put the full screen?
Okay.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay. Okay, well, my presentation is about the bioplastics from plants and the effect they have on soil, on the health of soil. It is quite close to the first part of the presentation of Antonino. So we have the traditional plastics that are made from oil and the bioplastics that have developed the last years, and they use renewable biomass for their production. For example, from plants, from trees, from food wastes. We take with various methods the first raw materials like cellulose, starch, sugar, proteins, and then we make chemical building blocks for the production of plastics, the bioplastics. The production of bioplastics has application in various sectors, and here you can see that about half of them are used in packaging, flexible and rigid packaging, while 14% is used in agriculture. What is happening at the end of life of these plastics? Actually, it is the end of life of all plastics, but since we speak about bioplastics here, it is how they end up. Some of them have many lives. They are the tough guys, meaning that we can recycle them and use them again and again. Of course, it is not perpetual. At the end, they end up at the landfill or they are burned. And we have the plastics that have only one life. They are weak, they can break down, and then we have the biodegradable or compostable plastics, or they do not break down and they end up at landfill or are burned. So in this table on the right, you can see that both bioplastics and fossil-based plastics can be biodegradable or not. What is the situation today? Today we have about 2 million tons of bioplastics, and around half of them are biodegradable and the other are not. You can, sorry, I have here the table from Zoom. Okay, it is better. Let's hope now. And where are the bioplastics produced? More of them are produced in Asia, around 75% of them. Next is coming Europe, and last is coming the United States of America and Brazil. And this trend will be continued for the next years. So all of these products, finally, with one way or the other, ends up in the soil, in the ground, or in the sea. We have 500 million tons of plastics produced annually worldwide. And the last 40 years, we have 900% more plastics generated on globally. And by 2050, if we don't act soon, then the oceans will have more plastics than fish. It is estimated that the plastic waste released into the land is from 4 to 23 more times higher than in sea. And unfortunately, we don't see it. This is why we have highlighted the plastic pollution in the sea. About 12,000 million tons of plastics waste will have accumulated in landfills until 2050 if we don't do something soon. All of these plastics in the soil that are burned into, like a grave, are put into the soil, create pollution to the soil. So the soil is a major worldwide environmental problem. It has been estimated that about 33% of all soils are degraded. And this is a threatening event. So other consequences is the climate change, and also human life on that. And we have to act now, even better yesterday, but tomorrow it will be very late. What we propose as a Bioeconomy Forum, we propose to reduce plastic consumption drastically, immediately, to lessen its impact on the environment. We believe that more policies and measurements have to be enforced to replace fossil-based plastics with bioplastics in various applications. It would be nice to see a reduction to the recycling cost. So many industries will be motivated to recycle plastic, and this will open new horizons for more applications. It would be good to promote somehow the responsible collection of plastics. It is a big issue because they are not collected on all fields, and especially agricultural plastics from rural areas. Farmers have to be educated about this and raise their awareness on this topic. And last but not least is to change the plastics to biodegradable or compostable, and also change the whole design of our products in order to be able to degrade. And this will need to design them from the beginning, from the principles of green chemistry. So the Greek Bioeconomy Forum has done a special agreement with the international scientific magazine Circular Economy and Sustainability from Springer. And this special issue is called the Era of Circular Economy. And we call all of you to submit a paper regarding soil or anything else it is you're interested regarding the bioeconomy and you believe is suitable for the era of circular bioeconomy we live in. You may submit a small abstract, just a paragraph to know the subject. The deadline is tomorrow, but because of this event, I can extend for 1 week this deadline. And I would like to thank you all on behalf of the Greek Bioeconomy Forum. It is a think tank of persons that believe in a circular bioeconomy and try to raise awareness and connect all the powers in our country. Please join us on Facebook and LinkedIn and follow us to empower our voice for bioeconomy. Thank you very much.
Dear Elektra, thank you very much. You were just on time. Very interesting presentation on bioplastics. And now we will move to the next presentation that is an application. We are going from research to some examples of bio-based products. And I would like to invite Mrs. Elena Anthis and Mrs. Alexandra Makriorgiou. I don't know how they want to organize the presentation. It's up to them.
I think Elena comes first.
Elena first and then Alexandra, it's up to you.
Yes, Elena first. Yes. Καλησπέρα σας από τη Θεσσαλονίκη. I am Elena Anthi. I am co-owner of the company Anthis for Human and Earth. We apply plant protection products based on biotechnology past 16 years, and we represent Novamont's Matter B finished products in Greece and Cyprus. Thank you very much for the invitation. I am honored to be among you today and share our concern for the soil, celebrating World Soil Day, the only resource which give life to Alice. I would like to start with a video, please. Just a second. There we are. Thank you, Novamont. There we are. So, a fertile soil means life. Nature teaches us through its beautiful harmony that we can save the earth and us humans. The symbiotic action of mycorrhizae, I will put this on full, and all beneficial microorganisms help to activate the self-defense systems of the plant against the main pathogens. These microorganisms are working for the benefit of the soil. We have to protect them by avoiding use of nitrogen fertilizers, fungicides, copper, sulfur, which are toxic for them. The circular soil. So you see this old tree, it's giving life to its neighbors. All life is profoundly interconnected. Soil is crucial for our well-being and the balance of ecosystems in our planet, but is fragile. In 200 years, only 2 centimeters of soil is formed, and in a blink we can lose it. The 2/3 of the Mediterranean surface suffer erosion and lack of organic matter. So how we will work for soil fertility? First of all, applying mycorrhizae, fungi, bacteria, zeolite. Fungi can help clean up contaminated soil. Petrochemistry products with biodegradable, compostable, biopolymer-based products. And we, humans, well, we need to change habits. You know, in Greek, we say first the soul leave the corpse and then the habit, the hui. We need to plant in our consciousness that to bring change, our habits must change. Abandon the petrol economy model now. Stop using products with an unknown life cycle to short-term needs for immediate satisfaction needs. You know, plastic was found in 1885 and it hasn't degraded yet. The solution is in a green color bio-based bag full of biomass applications, not only for food, but also for products and energy. Let's connect together to the human world web. We don't want to leave behind the posthumous fames of the bad one, do we? After all, we carry cues of bacteria in our body. Be legal, use certified products. The researchers struggle a lifetime to bring to us examples of ready-made products. When we have in our century the technical means, How we will use it wisely? This is the answer, the question actually. And I bring to you examples of ready-made finished products made from biopolymers like Matter B, from cornstarch and vegetable oils. First of all, we are very happy to and honored that we bring in the country the mulch film since 2006. It biodegrades in the soil in the end of the crop cycle, either from 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 months, depending on its density. Honorable state people, honorable scientists, institutionalize, subsidize this public good. After, we have products in retail. Biodegradable products are made to complete their life cycle in the food waste separate collection, as now our government makes the laws of the organic waste, and they are going to be valid from next year. The products have to end in soil, to feed the soil, and to close the loop in harmony. There are a lot of examples. Food service, single-use plastics, they were made to go in the garbage with the food we leave. You can see on the right side here how the composting process takes place for cutlery. So, raise awareness on the importance of a fertile soil to become a circular soil so the next generations can tread safe and serene on it. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope I keep the time right.
Perfect, Elena. And we can move to the second example. Alexandra, if you are ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so if you are ready, you can start sharing your screen.
Yes, of course. Okay, hello to everyone. I'm Alexandra Makrigeorgou. I am the founder of and chairwoman of the social enterprise Liophilo. Liophilo, for those who don't know Greek language, is a quick way, an idiom to say olive leaf. Me and my husband, the inventors of this novel project, we have the concern about the production of polluting materials and at the same time the existence of a big amount of untapped natural raw materials. To talk about olive leaves, just in Greece, over 150,000 tons of olive leaves are thrown away from oil mills per year. And the existing timber industry requires the deforestation. For us, the recycling and the circular economy is not a trend. It's a reality. It's an emergency to adapt the principles of the circular economy. And this is the stimulus to start, dream, and create Liophilo. So Liophilo exploits the untapped olive leaves and creates a novel eco-friendly material for different kinds of constructions. Some of our samples is some of our types of panels are the Marelia panel, which is a style or marble and is used for interior design. The other one is Welia panel. Our goal is to build our own production unit and to have a greater environmental impact. Until now, Welia panel is used to produce premium packaging for green and not only products. Because we want to have zero waste productions, every piece which are damaged during the production of samples and every leaf that is not used for the panels. We reuse them as a new raw material to create artistic and decorative pieces, which are promoting especially our culture. Our competitive advantages. We believe that it's the right timing because humanity must adapt the circular model of consumption. We have a national patent and a global evaluation, and we have already applied for the European and US patent. Our material is green, eco-friendly, bio-based. We use different kinds of biodegradable or bio-based adhesives to create our materials. Our philosophy and our products are promoting the Greek culture and Mediterranean because the olive tree is interwoven with our heritage and is easily scalable and applicable. We have already some collaborations to produce more useful things for our houses and to learn the markets to buy green products. We have the last almost 3 years from the birth of Liofilo. We have a lot of cooperation and participations, and the last year we participated at 2 programs of IDEREG, the Traces for Creative Industries, and the Pit Stop for Smart Cities. And the next week we have an online event to present our ideas for the 4 teams which are who are participating. Our team consists of female, the team of the enterprise. We have different backgrounds and work experience and soft skills, and we are trying to combine them for the growth of Liofilo. Thank you, Iacovos and Electra, for the inviting, and you can visit our website and our social media to learn more about our project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, both of you, Elena and Alexandra. Your presentation was just perfect to close the second session. And I would like now to give the floor to Iacovos to go to the third session of the today webinar. So,
Effie is Dr. Papadouli, who will present the financial opportunities.
Sorry. I thought it was, I'm sorry, Katerina, you know me very well.
Hello, no worries.
So we are going to close the second session with Katerina Papadouli from Praxis. Please, Katerina, the floor is yours. Finally, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you see my presentation?
Not yet.
Now, maybe? Let me, just a second.
Not yet.
Just a second, it's a bit.
Now it's coming, Katerina. Just make full screen.
Yes. Can you see it now?
Yes, perfectly okay.
Okay, great. So let me start. Thank you very much for the invitation in this very interesting webinar today about bioeconomy and also the use of soil. My name is Katerina Papadouli. I work for Praxis Network, and today I will present to you some funding opportunities on the European level for the bioeconomy sector. And because we're discussing about soil, I'm also going to present some new features in the new programs that are really focused on soil. So before that, please allow me to present very briefly my organization. Praxi Network is a technology transfer organization with long-standing experience in assisting small and medium enterprises and research organizations throughout Greece to achieve cross-border technological cooperation. It is a unit of the Foundation for Research and Technology in Greece, one of the most active research organizations. And it started out in 1991 as an initiative from the Foundation for Research and Technology and the Hellenic Federation of Enterprises, as well as the Federation of Enterprises of Northern Greece. Today, Praxi Network has a presence in 5 cities around Greece, in Athens, in Thessaloniki, in Patras, in Heraklion, and in Volos. Since 1999, the General Secretariat for Research and Technology in Greece appointed Praxi Network as national contact point for the framework programs for research and technological development. Today, we're talking about the framework program called Horizon 2020, and rendered the Praxi Network as the official entity for information and advisory support for EU-funded research programs. So as a national contact point, we provide information on the funding opportunities available. We provide support, answering questions, finding the right topic for you, also pre-screening of proposals. And finally, as a national contact point, we can connect you with the right national and international partners with the expertise that you need in order to build good and successful consortia for European research projects. Going to the more specific and thematic part of my presentation, on bioeconomy and circular economy, and how important it is for the European Union and the European Commission. So we know bioeconomy means the use of renewable resources from land and sea, like crops, forests, fish, animals, and microorganisms to produce food, materials, and energy. For the European Union, a stronger development of the bioeconomy will help the EU to accelerate its progress towards a circular and low carbon economy. It will also help modernize and strengthen the European industrial base, creating new value chains and greener, more cost-effective industrial processes, at the same time while protecting biodiversity and the environment. Research and innovation activities in areas such as bioeconomy and circular economy are supported through framework programs for research and innovations, as I mentioned before, which are running for 7 years. As you can see on the right of your screen, now we are in the process of the framework program, the 8th framework program, Horizon 2020, which started in 2014, and it's nearly coming to an end. And as you can see in the bottom, we have the new framework program, the 9th framework program, Horizon Europe, which will start in 2021 and will finish in 2027. But before Horizon 2020 ends, there is a last call. It was not scheduled before, but it came and it works a bit as a bridge between Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe, is the Green Deal, the European Green Deal call, with 20 topics on research and innovation, collaborative topics for collaborative projects that will help the European Union in its transition towards climate and carbon neutrality in 2050. I don't have the topics here because as you can see, the period for submission of proposals started in September and will end in the end of January, so it's quite late right now if you would want to submit a proposal, but I have it here for you for a reference, and you can see in the link the topics that are open at the time. Going to the next framework program, I want to tell you from the beginning that, of course, as climate change is one of the greatest challenges of our times, of course, the European Union gives more than half of the budget for research and innovation activities to activities covering, focusing on climate change, climate mitigation, and towards climate neutrality. You can see here the preliminary structure. The Horizon Europe structure is following the structure of Horizon 2020, has 3 distinct pillars. In the first pillar, you have excellent science, focusing mostly on basic research, but with very groundbreaking research. The second pillar, and the biggest, covering taking most of the budget of the program, is global challenges and European industrial competitiveness. Here you have distinct clusters, thematic clusters, and we will go into cluster 5 and 6 in a bit because they're covering areas of bioeconomy. And pillar 3 is on innovation. There is a distinct pillar focusing on innovation and supporting innovative ideas, revolutionary ideas that can create new markets. Just let me, just a second. I see something in the chat is not something that I have to answer. I hope you will let me know because I cannot really see if there is any question in the chat. So the initial proposal for the budget was, Effie, you want to say something? There is a,
no.
Question for me? No, okay. You can still see my presentation, right?
Yes.
Okay,
it's perfectly okay.
So talking about the budget, the preliminary budget for Horizon Europe was 100 billion euros. You can see the substantial amount of funding coming from the European Commission and the member states. Though because of the pandemic of COVID, a lot of money was had to be channeled to research and innovation on combating the pandemic. So now the proposed budget has reduced to 80 billion euros, but it's still a very high amount of money. So going to the different clusters that are going to be distinct areas in Horizon Europe, covering different thematic priorities and different strategies set by the European Union. We have here cluster 5, first of all, which focuses on climate, energy, and mobility, with the goal to fighting climate change, but at the same time improving sustainability and competitiveness of energy and the transport industry. You can see cluster 5 incorporates bioeconomy through the goal to achieve global leadership in renewable energy, including, of course, energy coming from biomass, and also through the development of sustainable solutions for specific transport needs in aviation, shipping, or heavy-duty road transport. The second cluster that is dealing with issues on bioeconomy, circular economy, and climate action is a cluster 6. You can see is focusing on food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and the environment. Cluster 6 focuses on tackling challenges that the ecosystems and natural resources such as soils, water, air, and biodiversity face, mainly because of unsustainable production practices and consumption patterns. The goal of the activities design will support Europe's transition to a sustainable, climate neutral, circular and environmental friendly economy in compliance, of course, with the United Nations 2030 Agenda, Paris Climate Agreement and the Convention on the Biological Diversity. I don't have more information here for you on the clusters because, as I told you in the beginning, we are now in the process of finalizing the structure of Horizon 2020. A lot of the information is not available yet, but of course, in the beginning of the next year, much more information will be available, and also we will organize national info days and workshops focusing more on the thematic clusters. Here you can see this slide on who can apply. There is no change between rules for participation between Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe. Any legal entity can apply Horizon Europe, and the framework programs are open for everyone around the world. But of course, there are specific rules for funding because not everyone is eligible for funding, but every country in the European Union and a list of countries, associated countries with Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe will be automatically eligible for funding. Also, you can see here most of the activities organized in the clusters are activities around projects, and projects are usually collaborative projects. So you need to build a consortium in order to submit a proposal and implement a project. Depending on the action, if it is a coordination and support action, or if it is a research and innovation action or innovation action, this tells you about the composition of your consortium. So in a coordination and support action, only one entity can apply, but of course this is the minimum requirement. Many more organizations could form a consortium and apply for coordination and support actions. And for the other actions, you need at least 3 legal entities established in 3 different member states or associated countries to build a consortium and apply with the proposal. Going to another new feature, if you wish, in Horizon Europe, we have research and innovation missions. This is another tool for achieving the goals and priorities set in the different thematic clusters. It's a new feature, as I told you. It has not been done before. The main goal of the missions is to connect research and innovation with the needs of the European citizens. The missions will be bold, inspirational, and widely relevant to society, will be clearly framed, they will be targeted and will have measurable goals and will be time-bound, and they will establish impact-driven but realistic goals. The 5 missions have already been decided. You can see the different mission areas, and the proposed budget will be 600 million euros. They will be implemented by a 15-member mission board that has already been decided by the Commission through a process of an open call that was launched in 2019. So because the info day today is quite thematic and is focusing on soil, I think it's a good opportunity for me to present some more information on the soil health and food mission area and provide you some more info on that. So as I told you, one of the mission areas is soil health and food. Of course, European soils are facing pressures from an increasing population with demands on land for production, settlement, and industries. soils are also heavily affected by climate change, erosion, and sea level rises. Approximately 30% of our global soils are degraded, and in the European Union, erosion is affecting 25% of agricultural land. The mission on healthy soils and food will provide a powerful tool to raise awareness on the importance of soils, to engage with citizens, create knowledge, and develop solutions for restoring soil health and soil functions. As you see, the goal for 2030 is to ensure that 75% of our European soils are healthy for food, for people, for nature, and for our climate. You see, most of the objectives have been already identified for 2030, and the targets, you can see some of them here. Some of the targets are that 50% of the degraded land is restored, moving beyond land degradation neutrality. Also, current rate, the rate of soil reuse is increased from current 13% to 50% to help meet the EU target for no new land taken by 2050. Also, another target is that at least 25% of the EU farmland is under organic agriculture, and also the restoration rate is doubled of sites that are polluted. Here you can see how the mission, the building block, how it all comes together. The mission will deploy a range of activities and tools for knowledge sharing, for co-creation of knowledge and research, and for scaling up innovation to improve soil management. These are the building blocks. And also it will encourage changes to the various drivers of soil health to reverse the trends that have led to today's soil degradation. What will be key in the process, not only for the soil mission, but for all the mission, is the involvement of stakeholders and of citizens' engagement. They will be key in the process. And the mission aims to reverse the traditional linear and often disciplinary vision for research and development by establishing a network of living laboratories and lighthouses for the showcasing of successful examples for various types of land uses, for farms, for forests, for industrial areas, and for urban settings, and will be functioning very close to land managers and their needs. Here you can see how the mission for soil, for healthy soil and food will be contributing to the different international and European policies and targets. Of course, the European Green Deal and the Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations, but not only that, other European policies and strategies that will be supported through this specific mission is the Farm to Fork strategy, the EU biodiversity strategy, the circular economy action plan, and others. And here you can see a timeline for the activities from between 2021 and 2030. As I told you, now we're in a preparatory and co-design stage. And here you can see how you can get involved with the mission. The Commission is engaging with citizens in a continuous process for the design, monitoring, and assessment of the missions, because it wants to co-create missions and Horizon Europe initiative with citizens and stakeholders. So there are various ways that you can participate in the co-creation of the missions. The link and with which you can get involved. Finally, because of course we're talking about the bioeconomy, I want to quickly present to you BBI, the partnership, the public public-private partnership, sorry, for bio-based industries in Europe. Many of you, I'm sure, you know it. It's a partnership between the European Union and the Bio-based Industries Consortium. Until today, the BBIJU has funded 123 bio-based innovation projects involving something less than 1,000 beneficiaries from 37 member states, EU member states, and associated countries. The goal of BBI has been and is to contribute to the development of a competitive and sustainable bio-based industries sector. You see some of the goals of BBIJU until 2030, around 3 main focus areas on the feedstock regarding supply, sustainable biomass supply in Europe that does not compete with food production. The other focus area is biorefineries, and the goal is to optimize efficient processing through R&D and demonstrate the efficiency and economic viabilities of biorefineries. And the third focus area is the new markets, new products, and new support policies for the development of European bioeconomy. Here I have for you some projects that have been funded by BBI and are covering objectives on soil, on improving soil quality and productivity, on maintaining soil structure and fertility, and reducing erosion. You can also check these project yourself. I'm not going to go into it. I see already that I have exceeded my time. Just bear with me for a few more minutes. As well as Horizon Europe, BBIJU reaches an end. We are in the process now of the final call of BBIJU. We are waiting for the results to see which proposals will become projects. But in the new program, BBI Bio-based Industries Joint Undertaking will be renamed and reformed in a different partnership that will be called Circular Bio-based Europe. At this point, we don't have any more information to share with you. Of course, the BBI, until the new partnership arises, will make sure that the projects will run smoothly until the transition period. And through this in this time, BBI will be organizing awareness-raising events to raise awareness on bioeconomy and the circular economy. Finally, some links here, because I was informed that we will have in our audience a lot of students, a lot of master's students, and maybe PhD students. So I wanted to highlight here some opportunities, cross-cutting opportunities for students and young researchers in Horizon 2020, but of course they will all continue in Horizon Europe. So I have 4 different programs here. Erasmus Plus, I'm sure that most of you know it, is the European program to support education, training, youth and sport in Europe. They fund a lot of activities, including studies abroad and traineeships abroad and master's degrees. Also, you have here cost actions, which are organized under the umbrella of European cooperation and science in science and technology, which funds different actions on scientific missions, on training, giving grants for participation in conferences and in different activities. Also, the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, which has different parts, and there is also EIT Climate, EIT Food, that are more thematic, but are also providing opportunities for students and young researchers. You can see that EIT offers the Community Master's Program and the Community PhD Program. And finally, this is more for PhD students and for more senior researchers is the Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions, which provide grants for all stages of researchers' careers, providing different training networks, individual fellowships, some mobility grants, and co-funding opportunities through national and international programs. Finally, you can see a series of useful links for the next framework program for EU Green Deal, the Funding and Tenders Opportunities Portal, which is the main portal of the European Commission for all its funding opportunities. You can see the first draft of the Caring for Soil is Caring for Life, which is the name of the mission for 2030 for soil. And finally, the links for BBI and Bio-based Industries Consortium. So thank you very much for your attention. I'm here, I'm available for all your questions and remarks, and thanks again.
Thank you very much, Katerina. You present all the opportunities that we have to continue the research on bio-based economy. And we finished this session, and now I think it's time for Iakovos to take the floor and continue with the third part of this webinar. So, Iakovos, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready, but the question is not whether I am ready, is whether the participants are ready, because it's time to be active and to tell us their opinion and express their ideas. What we're going to do is I'm sharing in the chat a link to the Miro platform, because the idea is to put your ideas or suggestions on a poster, so we can all share it and we can all see the ideas. I will be with my colleague Susanna Albertini on this. From my point of view, an expert in bioeconomy.
Hello, everybody.
Especially in communicating bioeconomy, engaging stakeholders, and many other activities. So if you can please go to that link, follow that link. I will also open it. I will share it also from my side so we can see what is going on. Everyone in, or any problems? You can unmute yourselves if you want to do it. What you have to do is from the left bar here, from the menu, you make sure that you select the arrow in order to navigate back and forth or whatever. And I would like to know, first of all, the audience. So if you can just pick up a dot and put it in on the correct rectangle, mentioning which is your background. If you are a researcher or for coming from civil society, from policy, research and education, this includes students, the future researchers maybe. So let's see who is who. You have to select here. You can zoom in and out, obviously.
Jakos, just to explain that, of course, the system is not interactive in the screen shared by Iakovos. You have to enter in the link to interact.
So maybe it's better that you see me, not the screen, so you are not confused.
Yes, probably it's better like that. Okay, I see that someone is already writing.
Click and drag a dot.
Iakovos, I will.
Excuse me?
I will share it, share the Miro.
Okay.
So that if you interact, I show on the share screen what is going on.
Perfect.
Because it's better while we are recording the event.
Okay, come on, guys and ladies, 130 participants and not even half of the bullets.
We see more than
the arrows
45
are going back
inside.
and forth, and I cannot stabilize the arrows. I don't know what to do there.
The arrows, each user has its own arrow, so don't bother with it. It's a bit, let's say, the movement is maybe confusing, but don't bother. Your arrow, you know where it is.
I'm trying to be helpful, but it seems.
I think people should zoom out and go to the second slide.
Okay.
Because there are all the people that are still left in the center of the Miro, but as you can see, there are like a lot of people on the other side.
Okay, in that case.
Okay, anyway, what from now is that we have a polarization. So I think that someone moved, but Luis moved back the board. And basically what I see is that we have the majority of participants are researchers from research and education. And it seems that there are also quite a good number of business and a couple of civil society, apparently no policymakers. So if you are a policymaker, now I see that there are 46 people inside, and therefore we are increasing 47. So apparently everybody is entering. So if you are not in, you can go in the chat in the Zoom and copy the link and then entering in the Miro. When you are in, you can put your screen big and just hear the voice of Iakovos and even me, and interact in the board in which you can do. As you can see, all the people that are in are these arrows around. Okay, maybe we can go to the second. Now, Iakovos, meanwhile, they can do both things.
The idea, we have basically two questions. The first one is what are the challenges that we are facing today regarding bioeconomy and soil health? From the previous presentations, what we heard, the buzzwords, let's say, was resilience, sustainability, circularity. So what are the challenges we are facing today? Whatever this can be at any
We lost
level.
you for a while, Iakovos. Probably you are kind of lost in Greece.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I was saying that from the previous presentations, the words resilience, circularity.
Iakovos, you have a bad connection, I guess.
Yes. Anyway, what we are trying to do here, we are trying to understand what are the challenges basically to be addressed. I already see that someone already put limited synergies and networking, collaboration mentality that are more or less similar. So when you move the sticky notes and you double click on the sticky notes, you can write inside what you want to share. If you don't want to write, you can cancel the sticky notes that are not okay. So sorry, Iakovos?
Yes, you can. Some part of the time.
Okay, so I see that someone is writing PhD student, almost graduated students. If you, I don't know if you're talking about, or if you want to highlight the fact that it's important to have a PhD or to have a graduated student that are ready to enter the market. So if you can elaborate a little bit on this, because we know that education is one of the main challenges to be addressed in order to kind of create the innovation ecosystem for the bioeconomy, not only at university level, but also at other levels. We already seen even from the presentation before, like the farmers, the primary sector, the policymakers, all the stakeholders should be informed and trained somehow. Okay, so no cluster.
I am here still trying. The collaboration mentality, for example, just to comment on a few, I think it was also raised in the first session about how the need to the farmers to come together for, say, to ensure feedstock availability or to collaborate with, between them in a region or with researchers to rotation of the crops or to achieve this knowledge transfer. So production of bio-waste, improve the production of bio-waste. Okay.
Rather than production, probably is exploitation of bio-waste. So create the value chains, create the connections, because I mean the production is there somehow, even if the quality should be improved, of course. I guess. And then superficial approaches, I don't know exactly what you mean. So the one that wrote a superficial approach, maybe you can elaborate a little bit more. Collaboration, networking is important because we also have a collaboration mentality. We have limited synergies and networks. Okay, so feedstock, ensure feedstock availability.
A very interesting comment is about the non-existing common language between business and academia. I don't know how we can solve it, but this is the next issue. Indeed, it seems to be not misunderstanding, I would say, but usually not clear messages pass through.
Yes, also, okay, lack of awareness or interest on citizen side. Yes, so probably also the need of increasing the awareness. By the way, BioVoices project is all about how to engage the citizen in the innovation ecosystem for the bioeconomy and the bio-based product. And by the way, on Monday from 10 to 12:30, there will be the focus group of BioVoices, in which we would like to validate all the results of more than 70 mobilization and mutual learning workshops. So if you are interested in participating, in the chat I put my email, so you can contact me to be part of this expert group. The idea is really to transform our insights into an action plan for the involvement of the citizens.
So as time is flying, let's go to the final question, which indeed will probably address the challenges. What are, you cannot hear me?
Okay, so Iakovos, you are coming, so maybe I take the word when you're not speaking.
Yes, actions and who? Actions and actors. What can be done or should be done, and by whom?
Yes, as you can see, this table is divided in four. Because again, we have the business, the policy, the research, and the civil society. So our idea here is that you put your contribution, your sticky note, in the area you believe that the stakeholders should take the lead. So for instance, if you want to put a label in, probably the good place where to put it is in policy. Or if you want to have more research, more information, more education, of course, in research and education. So information campaign, we already see that it is positioned in the middle between business and policy. To right, because I see that there are several empty squares, so maybe if this is a technical issue, if you want to write, you have to double click on your post-it, on your sticky note, in order to write on it. Okay, legislation to promote bioeconomy. I guess this has to do with incentives or facilitating bio-based product, like decreasing the VAT or other incentives in order to facilitate the uptake of the bio-based product compared to the fossil-based ones, or even if it is bioeconomy legislation that is promoting the rural development or all the activities that can be done in order to support the deployment of the bioeconomy as a local opportunity to grow and development.
Here, I hope you can hear me. I think it's also relevant to one of the presentations earlier from Christopher Landi, from Mr. Kitikidis, about the regional innovation system. And this, I think, highlights the role of regions and regional collaborations. I don't know who should start this process. Obviously, it is a joint effort, but this kind of initiatives can help address many of the challenges mentioned here and in general. Trust, obviously. Yes.
Jakove, sorry, because this is what we have done in our project here in Western Macedonia. Unfortunately, this region is not very much industrialized as the other parts of Central Macedonia or Attica. So with some few companies, but the triple helix was approached, and of course, working groups with SWOT analysis on the bioeconomy field, but also some kind of barriers to be noted, and some expected outputs or results or any kind of improvement to be expected, not only during the project, but also in the bioeconomy field itself. So I'm just thinking what to write. There's for every part of this canvas something to be written. The minute only. The most important. The most important complaint from the side of the industry was first of all that the industry and academia do not speak always the same language. So they have another point of view or a different point of view of the same thing. And the other thing is, of course, our industry expects some kind of funding or support from the authorities side, and this is often not so easy, since they do participate in some kind of calls from regional authorities, ESPA, and the regional operational programs, etc. However, the evaluation of these calls, it takes, let's say, two years of time, and this is something unacceptable from the industry side. So in 2 years, you have a lot of changes in your business plan or investment plan.
Yes, certainly.
Just some just some keynotes or keywords about what you just asked.
Thanks. Go ahead, Jakobos.
Yes, actually the whole point is the collaboration at regional level. Regardless of the level of maturity and industrialized situation, collaborating at regional level is a key. It's a starting point.
Yes, also match in the center of the screen, match all of them, so all the stakeholders, for a better future through campaigns, program, green investment, courses, law. And of course, this is what BioVoices did, and what the new project Transition to Bio that will start in January will do. So follow also this new project Transition to Bio that will come. I've seen more publishers in the social media. I just posted here at BioVoices, because BioVoices has a very strong activity in the social media with more than 7,000 followers. I also like the fact that I've seen somewhere the fact that the researcher should, let's say, wear the shoes of the primary producers, and therefore meet the farmers to understand their real condition and future of as future researcher. Yes, is this that one in the bottom corner. and focusing on researches about soil biochemistry and biology. Of course, the role of the research is fundamental together with all the other, let's say, activities more related to communication, awareness, collaboration, stakeholder engagement.
Okay, I think we are out of time, so I will quickly wrap up this session. First thing, the posters, the Miro session will be open until, let's say, Friday, end of business, so that you have the possibility to go back and well, rethink and post your messages. So don't worry if you didn't have the time now or you faced any difficulties. The second thing that I wanted to say, Luis, if you can go back to the right, a bit to the right to show the posters. Right, the other side. The boards, the collaboration boards from the other side. You will have the opportunity, exactly. If you have any question you want to address to any of the speakers of the two sessions, please feel free to do it. We'll share this information with all the speakers so they can come back to you. So it could be good, for example, to mention your name or an email address or even a question so that they can come back to you. And the final board has to do with your contact details. Tell us who you are and what are you interested in order to be shared this information with everyone. So that's what I had to say from my side. Any questions regarding the entire day or any closing words from anyone? Yeah.
Yeah, Iakove.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, just because you mentioned collaboration before, I just want to mention that collaboration is the proof of today's event, because a lot of stakeholders collaborated so that this event can take place. And this is very hopeful for the future and for bioeconomy. And well, let's leave the floor open to future collaborations on because the research has to go on and discussions have to go on. So with so many interesting topics like the ones that we heard today, it was very interesting once again.
Good. Any other closing remarks? Electra, Mersini, Evi, Xuvalandi, Marios, any of the speakers or the participants? Or we start?
Electra, say first.
Just thank you very much all the participants that honor us today, and of course all the speakers with all these interesting presentations. Hope next year to be a live event in a room and not on a web event, to be healthy and strong until next year, and enjoy a bioeconomy environment in the between. Thank you all.
From my side, I would like to thank everybody because you stayed so late. We are still 120 people. That means that the event was very interesting. The presentation was just great. I would like to thank you all, and I would like to wish you Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas to everyone. Stay healthy, stay home, and probably we'll see you in 1 year. Next
Merry Christmas.
Yes. Merry Christmas to all.
Perfect.
Merry
Christmas.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.